I saw Barry's video the other day where he absolutely crashed this Heller.
Oh. Not cool, bro. Why are you bringing up old stuff?
And it got me thinking about a time I absolutely wrecked a machine. About 5 years ago, when I used to still work as an applications engineer, I always wanted to prove myself. In this particular instance, I was working on a horizontal, a lot smaller than this one. It was only a 4000. This right here is a 6300, right? And I had never ever put one together out of the box. Like, you know, freshly installed, you're putting everything in there, kind of testing out everything. So I put this Kurt tombstone on there. It had like 6 or 8 vices. I can't remember exactly the configuration. And it would allow you to do different work on different sides, but it's a pretty heavy thing. So I put it on there, and I locked everything down, and I checked. On most horizontals, there's usually like pins, like little like tapered pins right here that will pick up the pallet and keep it in place for when it rotates around. This is where things took quite the turn. So if you're like standing at a horizontal, right, you can see when these things change the pallets, right? So like you'll see that door swinging whenever you do an M60. So I press M60 into MDI, end of block insert, cycle start, and as this door turns, I can see the pallet is like already at like 45 degrees. I mean, I remember like wanting to freeze time, like, oh my gosh, this thing is about to absolutely wreck itself. And wreck itself, it absolutely did. It made a noise so loud that I'd say about half the company came out and checked out what Donnie did this day. And yeah, when they came out there, they saw a pallet sitting in the floor of the horizontal machine, and probably $25,000 in damage was done to different pieces of sheet metal. That was the extent of it. It was sheet metal, but I really didn't know what I did wrong. I mean, as long as those pinholes were lined up and as long as everything seemed secure, I really don't get how the heck this machine could just throw this pallet like this. I go and I pull the tombstone out, and then Brian comes out and he's like, dude, what did you do? You know, like, what the heck? Like, did you do everything you said you did? Because it should have worked fine. He goes up to the machine, he does M60, end of block insert, cycle start. So he does it, he does an M60, runs it, and he's like, holy crap, this is way too fast. So he actually goes in and adds, on this machine, M61 was slow pallet change. But if you had a heavier tombstone in there, you could do an M61, which would change it slow. Now, I was kind of new to this machine, so I didn't really know. I was super eager, wanted to prove myself, wanted to take care of everything by myself and show that I didn't need anyone's help. So after everything was kind of settled and he showed me that there was a slow pallet change mode, after that, the pallet will never change quick, which is pretty cool. So later that week, the service guys came in and I kind of helped them put the sheet metal back in. They didn't really need my help. I kind of just more like felt really guilty for damaging someone's machine. But yeah, we put the machine back together, and seeing Barry make that mistake he made on that Heller the other day kind of just got me thinking about stories like this, right? Like, I was always the Swiss guy at my old shop, and I always wanted to prove myself, and I always wanted to go out of my way to learn new things and rise up in this career, in this whole field, right? I wanted to be known as a good machinist. It meant a lot to me, and I tried really hard to do that. So a lot of people lately have been reaching out to me and saying, Donnie, what do you think the best things I can do to get as far as I can in manufacturing? What I've been saying to everyone is just a couple of the same things, really. Number one, the most important thing you can be worried about in your 20s is your knowledge, is how much you're learning. How much information are you keeping in that head of yours to take into future jobs? Because your salary, all that stuff, that'll come later. If you just get comfortable at the beginning of your career and you don't push yourself, if you want to climb up the ranks, you need to take chances, you need to learn as much as you can, and you'll get to where you want to be a lot easier than you think. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than you think. Yeah, it's a lot of work to get to like where I'm at today, because no matter how hard you try, at the end of the day, the reality is someone like me, who's more of a lathe guy, like a Swiss lathe guy, I may know mills, but I'll never know mills like this guy right here. I'll never be able to know mills like this guy. This guy's a freaking genius.
You'd have to hit your head pretty hard.
Well, I've tried that. And I'll probably never know mill turns like this guy. This guy's a freaking mill turn genius. So I may go way out of my way and try to learn all this stuff, but you're always gonna have people in this field, in this industry, who are really, really good at what they do. Like this guy.
Hey, he's pretty good at Swiss though.
Thank you, Tyson. See, Tyson's not only a good mill turn guy, but he's also super nice. Because that was a good chance for him to...
Get out of my career.
The second thing I tell people which is always try to have a good attitude and be nice to those around you in this industry. This industry is a lot smaller than you think. You will run into people that you worked with in the past, most likely again. Don't burn any bridges. Always keep a positive attitude. Always be willing to help those around you. If you maintain that attitude, you will get a lot further you think just off that alone. So yeah, that's my story pretty much for you guys. I really just wanted to tell you, you know, I've tried my hardest to get to the top of this field. I really have. You know, and I really just want to say there's always going to be people out there who are going to know more than you in some way, shape, or form. So always be kind of humbled by that, you know? Always have open ears. Always listen to the people who could teach you some things. It's amazing where that attitude can take you. So yeah, if you want to hear more stories about things I've broken in the past, comment down below. Help the algorithm out. It'll get our videos out there. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notifications bell so you can get updates on videos like this. I genuinely hope you enjoyed it. I always enjoy telling stories. I like story time with Donnie, personally. That's a stupid way to end the video. I don't want to end the video. Redo it.